Hey everybody. Hey, this is Levi here, and I gotta say that I'm just gonna go completely off the top of my head with this today, um, because I think one thing I want to talk about is character building. um, One thing that I've always struggled a lot in my life is holding in a lot of things when I shouldn't, and it's a perfect example of what I'm talking about is when you squeeze an orange. You get orange juice, right? When you squeeze that orange and you get that out. As Wayne Dyer said, that's what's inside. It has to come out. So when life squeezes us, and I've touched on this before, what comes out? And for me, a lot of times what comes out is anger. A lot of times it's not rageful anger, but it's stressed anger. It's frustration. It's anxiety. It's when I'm squeezed, tension comes out of me. And I often wonder when, of all the things I've accomplished, of all the things I've went through, why do I still hang on to this? And, what am I hanging on to? And why am I not finding alignment in my life? And I mean, I've got so much to be grateful for. I have 3 amazing sons who are my why for everything. My oldest son, in fact, I've just not too long ago, about a week or so ago, he sat right here in this chair with this background and did his own motivational video. And I couldn't help but be inspired by my own son. And something that I wanted to tell you is go check out my son's page. It's the Backroad Fisher, and check that video out. It just meant the world to me. And my 2 other children are just the lights of my life. All 3 of my sons are different. All 3 of them have their own personalities. They're all unique. But I noticed today, having a great time with my children, but being stressed, being worn out, trying to balance where I want to go as an author, writing children's books, where I want to go writing my biography that I'm now 102 pages into, where I want to be as a speaker. And, I find myself running into a wall of fear. And I really don't know what the fear's for. I can honestly say that, yes, I've faced rejection and I've faced setbacks, but on a level that would cripple most people, I can honestly say nothing really like that's ever held me back. Most of the people around here where I live, no one's really put me down. No one's really made it hard for me to succeed. It's been right here. And I struggle with that, and that's part of one of these webumentaries, part of WTS is to show you that not just when I get to where I'm going, but I want to show where I'm at various stages along this road. Because I think it's very important that, some of the mentors I have, Eric Thomas, Tony Robbins, Steve Harvey, Gary Vaynerchuk, some of these guys that are there, they're doing their thing every day. I want to show in these webumentaries the getting there, not just when you're there. And before, it comes out as wrong, a lot of these individuals, male and female, did their work when it wasn't being seen. So don't think anyone hasn't earned it. all of these people, especially the ones I just mentioned, they've earned it. But what I want to do is document the earning process. I don't want to come out and just, if I'm making $700,000 a year speaking or writing books or promoting my biography, I don't want to just come out then. I want to come out when I have a day where playing a game of sorry with my kids, I get anxiety and gets frustrated when they don't put the cards right on the pile, or when they put their feet under the chair and I ask them not to. Because really, these are silly, silly things. They are really, really silly things that don't matter none. Maybe there's times in your life that you get aggravated with something, and then later on you say, oh my gosh, that didn't mean nothing. And that's the way I feel right now. Playing playing a game of sorry. Me and my children love to play sorry together. If you don't know what sorry is, it's a pretty cool board game. I encourage you to check it out. But I would get upset because my kids wouldn't lay their discards down on a discard pile straight. They'd just throw them down, and I'd say, quit doing that. Or when I would try to move my pieces, they would count, and I would say, stop counting. You're interrupting me. And the one thing that I work on very hard is trying to condition my mind that before I say things like that, realize maybe they're having so much fun, they're not worrying about where the card falls. Maybe they're having so much fun, they're counting my moves as if they're moving too because they're excited. The stress in all of our lives can be very daunting. Stress, no matter what it is, the stress can always cause anxiety. But we've got to condition our minds to look at the best of everything. I found myself, honestly, in the last week, I have found myself really being negative. Actually being more negative than I have so in a long time. I find myself not being able to come back out of that as quick. So this goal that I have for the next week coming up, because as I'm taping this, it's now Sunday night, it'll be Monday tomorrow, and I just get that off there, and I want more, and I don't want to feel guilty for wanting more. I don't want to be afraid for wanting more. I know an amazing person, amazing musician, an older gentleman. It's a friend of mine, and I've known him for several years now, and the man has played in front of 20,000 people. He's played in front of 5. The stories that I recall sitting around his table with him and his wife, the stories he's had, amazing. His name's Terry, and Terry lives with passion. And Terry's had good times, Terry's had bad times. And last night there was a benefit dinner and show here locally for Terry. Terry's had some things come up, and even though I don't like to admit anything's over till it's over, Terry's come out and told a lot of people that he knows his time is himself. He believes his time is very limited. And I wasn't able to make it to that benefit, but I got to see a video. An amazing musician who knows that his life is coming to an end, in my opinion, too early. He got up on stage, and whether he had oxygen on or not, the man sung, the man played his guitar, and he entertained a lot of people. And the thing is, a lot of times we do things like this after someone's passed away. I can't imagine what my friend Terry had in his mind, but I've got a pretty good idea that night. I can guarantee death was not in his mind. His mind was on entertaining those who came to his event. And then I bring that back into my own world and I think, my gosh, getting aggravated over laying cards down right is silly. And I don't want you to think the wrong thing. I didn't get upset. I was just frustrated. And I felt like all day today that a lot of things weren't in my control, but really they are. And if you get into these places, what I would want to recommend, you don't have to want a career as a writer or a speaker. What you have to want is to be better, to become a better person. And part of that is going to make mistakes. But the next opportunity that comes up, try to catch yourself. For me, it's before I get a little aggravated with things, I'm going to remember they're just having fun. They're having fun with me. And that's where the real alignment comes in. See, there's times that I get to pushing myself so hard that sometimes I wear myself completely out. And you'll see a lot of people have become successful this way. But one thing I believe for myself that will bring my success is having alignment. I think you can go out there and you can grind. I think you can go out there and you can hustle. I think you can go out there and just get it. There's so many people out there talking about, well, I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Great. But I believe it's not how much you do in a day, it's the quality of what you do in a day. I don't mean sleep in until 10 o'clock, get up and go at it for 3 or 4 hours and go home, go back to bed. You've got to get up early. You've got to show some initiative. But when your body, the vehicle that is telling you, hey, we got to stop for a little bit, you always push because you get the best results when you push. But your body will also reach a point that you don't hear about a lot. And that's where your body will break down. You push yourself so hard you break an ankle. You blow out your knee. You make yourself so exhausted from whatever it is you're doing that you can't stay awake at work, or you can't stay up at night to get your passion done. That's when your body's going to say, push all you want, we're done. And your body's going to go to sleep. It reminds me of a horror movie that I had seen a long time ago, and without getting into the details of what it is, you'll know it when I describe it, but these kids are trying to stay awake because this nightmarish figure is trying to kill them in their sleep. And I remember one scene where this young teenage boy and this young teenage girl they're running into a pharmacy trying to stay awake, and as they're trying to find medication to help keep them awake, I mean, they're going to try to pop pills right there in the aisle. They don't care. They're trying to stay awake because this killer is after them. And regardless, no matter how hard they fight in the aisle, reality starts going from what they see in front of them to a dream state where they're seeing this killer coming after them. And that's kind of a perfect example of life, where even though we don't have our own killer metaphorically coming after us, when you reach the point where you've pushed your body so far, your body will start in and out. You'll start losing sense of reality. You'll start losing your consciousness. You'll start hurting yourself physically in your joints and stuff. And that's where I got to say, you can hustle, definitely grind, make things happen, but you also have to have an alignment. Because if you don't have any kind of alignment, it doesn't matter how much you hustle. There's people who are billionaires that are miserable. There are poor people who have such serenity within their hearts that they're billionaires in their own right. I believe you've got to go after what you want. But if you don't have an alignment within yourself, you're going to have the longest road to hoe. And a lot of times you may still reach it at the end because of that hustle, because of that grind. And I believe in that. But because you don't have an alignment, you may hustle for another 5 years. You may grind for another decade before it happens. Have alignment. And that's what I struggle with right now. And that's kind of my call to action tonight, is that you need to find alignment. You need to find a peace and serenity with life. You know, actor Jim Carrey, before he became successful, he would drive up to a place called Mulholland Drive above Hollywood, and he would just dream and just think about all these good things that he had. And he would think about them so much that when he came back down into the city, he truly understood those things were out there and they were his. He just hadn't gotten to them yet. And because he kept that motivation, he kept that alignment and that peace in him, everybody knows what Jim Carrey ended up becoming. Ace Ventura, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, became, a superstar. He became a millionaire. And it's not about the money, it's about the alignment. And I think today for myself, I struggle a lot with alignment, because I want to speak. I want to tell people my story. But then I get so afraid of getting up there and messing up. Or I figure I have a lot of trouble sometimes remembering where I'm going with things. And I'm always afraid that if I use too many notes, will I look like I don't know what I'm doing? And the real truth is, none of that matters. If you've got a story, tell it. That's one of the reasons I'm writing my biography right now, is I really feel that when this book comes out, probably at the first of the year, I think it's going to help a lot of people. I'm just, I think in my heart, I just feel it's going to help a lot of people. And because of that, I've got to work on that. I got to work on that. Well, if I have to use notes, who cares? It doesn't matter. Just like if whatever you're doing in life, if you've got to have some kind of assistance here or there to make something happen, don't be afraid to do it that way. Just make it work. And I think a lot about the rejections that I've had as a children's writer. The couple times that I've had agencies want to take me under representation and then they back out at the very last minute. But I want to keep doing it. I want to go to elementary schools. I want to reach children and encourage them and inspire them to know that even though they grow up and they become teenagers and they become adults, they don't have to lose their creativity, and neither do you. The one thing I've been finding out as I'm writing this biography, a lot of things I haven't thought about it for a long time, a lot of feelings I haven't felt for a long time. And maybe that's why I've kind of struggled a little bit here with some more negativity, because the first part of the book is about getting all the negative things that happened to me out under the microscope for the reader to see. And to do that before I start showing all the good things. I think it's important to show the bad so that the good definitely shines the brightest. But, with a new day, there's every bit of new opportunity. And I'm going to make it happen. Even though, like I said, I may have gotten aggravated at little things today, I didn't get aggravated so much that my kids really noticed much. They could probably tell that, Dad was stressed. But when it comes to my kids know that they have my heart. And they know that to reach the success that I'm wanting, that stress is coming through me, and it's because I'm working to make it happen. So whatever it is, I just want you to know this video is usually You know, they're a little more upbeat, but, you know, I want you to see when things aren't as upbeat. I think you need to see it. It's one thing, you know, to see a great speaker when they're on fire. What about a video when they're not on fire? I want to show you that video with this. As I want to show you the guy in me that goes to schools and speaks to kids about my life experience, the author that goes to elementary schools and holds presentations for grade school kids. I want you to see on the days that it's not the hottest and the greatest, and I'm not bouncing off the walls. I am still positive. I still believe in myself, but it's a character building day. It's not a bad day, it's a character building day. And, you know, the one thing that I have been keeping in my mind a lot lately is a quote by Wayne Dyer, and it says, "You can't give away what you don't have." And what I'm wanting to give away to the world, I'm going to have to start finding it for myself. I got to start finding the love for myself. I mean, I'm positive, I'm motivated, but right now, honestly, I'll tell you, as I'm sitting here and we're sitting here together, my alignment is off. That's why I'm not completely full-time doing this. That's why I'm still working a job in the evening as a janitor at a high school. Because the fear, I'm allowing the fear to hold me back. So the number one thing I've got to do is work on getting that fear eliminated. And I've got so many things in my life that I'm grateful for. And it's time that the old persona, even though I've changed myself for the most part, there's the less part that's still there that it's got to go away. I've got to every day be the person that I want to be. And that's what I'm going to start working on. So, because I want to be successful, I want to do things for my children, just like I'm sure you do. So if you're seeing this and we're here talking, it may be screen to screen, but I'm talking to you. And I want you to see me under a microscope when I'm not dressed up really, really nice and I'm not all positive and just beaming. Doesn't mean I'm not positive, doesn't mean I'm not beaming. But I want you to see me when I'm having a character building day. And I'm still willing to sit here and tell you, you have a lot of things in your life that I know you can be grateful for, and I know you can make happen. So, my call to action tonight for WTS is finding alignment. Because one person tells you that you have to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning to be successful. There are times, if you've got an idea, get up early, make it happen. If you have a natural routine where you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and you feel good and you're alert and you're awake, get on it then. There's going to be opportunities where people are going to say, oh, well, this person gets up earlier, and maybe they have something that happens that could be yours if you got up earlier. But then again, that's where the alignment has to come in. You cannot sit and worry about every little thing that you're not getting. You have to be aligned, just like I said with Jim Carrey. Go up on your own Mulholland Drive. Vision what you want. Find peace and serenity inside of yourself. And then come back down into your city and make it happen. Listen to all of the inspiration that's coming to you, but listen to your self-alignment also. So find that alignment in yourself, okay? What makes you feel aligned? And if you don't know, if you have a night where maybe you don't have your kids, or a chance where you can go sit alone for a while, you know, put on some soft music or some sounds that you maybe don't normally listen to get yourself in a different mental state. Sit in the dark sometimes. There's been times before in the past I've sat and listened to just classical music, old style music, big band, things like that. And, you know, sit there in the dark on my couch and just sit, and I close my eyes and I just listen to the music, but I'd be thinking, who am I? Why am I here? What am I doing? And where do I want to go? So I want to encourage you. A little bit longer WTS tonight, but it's something from my heart. Totally just winging this one, and I wanted to be really heartfelt with how I am feeling today, because I want people to look back one day and say, there was Levi B. Fox when he was having a character building day, and I want them to still be inspired. So with the beginning of a new week for me, I don't know where it's at for you. Make it about finding personal alignment and believing in yourself. So you guys take care and don't stop believing. Take care.